The other day I saw someone giving advice to a newer rider on how to get up steep hills on a dirt bike, and they said when you get to the base of the hill, just rev the engine and dump the clutch to get up it better. And while this can help, there's two problems that I've run into when you do something like that. One, when you rev the engine and just dump the clutch, you're a lot more likely to spin the rear wheel because you get the RPM high, and when you dump the clutch, it's gonna break that rear tire loose. And once you start spinning, you're not accelerating as quickly. The other problem is when you're waiting until you get to the base of the hill, you're fully relying on the bike building up as much speed and momentum as possible, which means that you either have to have a lot of horsepower or you have to get really good traction to build up speed, because once you start going uphill, it's a lot harder to build up that momentum. So what I always try and do instead is building up as much speed as possible before you start going uphill. Even if it's just 1 or 2 miles an hour, it can make the difference between getting stuck halfway up the hill and falling back or having to try it over again, as opposed to getting up that hill because you have just that little bit, that 10% more momentum. Because if you have a little bit more speed, you can stay in the mid-range of the power where it's getting really good traction while making good power, so you're putting the power to the ground. Whereas if you're riding in the high RPM, this is when you're making the most power, but you're more likely to spin up the rear wheel, especially if the hill is slippery or there's slick rocks or roots, or if you're not building up that extra speed, you might lose a little bit of momentum and fall down in the lower RPM range where your bike isn't making very good power, and then you have to shift down, which slows you down, and then you have to get the RPM back up and you're more likely to spin the rear wheel again. So just building that little bit of momentum can make a huge difference, but it's really hard to do that if you're just looking down just past your fender. So you got to be looking ahead so that you can anticipate when and where the hill is going to be, so that you can build up that little extra speed to get up the hill. And if you want to learn the top 5 mistakes that I've made when trying to get up steep hills, you should check out this video right here. I also want to let you know that we recently launched the MXHideout merch store, where you can get trucker caps, t-shirts, hoodies, beanies, stickers. So if you want to support us and be a part of the family, the link is in the description below. I'm Kelly Fager from MXHideout. Ride safe, have fun.